thank you all for coming out. I've been doing poetry slams. My name is Taj. I've been doing poetry slams in this community for 10 years now. And in 2007, I went to the Fort Peck Res for a hip-hop show called A Rising Nation. And we were performing for the community, and we were teaching the community members the 4 elements of hip-hop, and which are breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, and MCing. And then they looked at me, and the brother goes, let that brother help him write. So I was like, okay, I was in charge of writing. I had to teach the kids how to write so we could put all 4 elements together. And that's where the concept of Express to Speak came from. This you're attending tonight is an awareness raiser, a fundraiser. So all the money that you've given at the door is going to the goal to pay a grant writer to kick off Express to Speak. So far, 3,500 to 3,600 adolescent youth throughout the state of Montana have been through Express to Speak. I've been working it since 2010. Thank you. Express to Speak travels to Job Corps, all the Job Corps in the state of Montana, hits the reservations, works in traditional, non-traditional high schools, Pine Hills Juvenile Correction Facility, works with a lot of at-risk adolescent youth and then youth that are wanting to hone in their passion a little bit more. Sorry, here. I was out of town for 4 days. A brother of mine passed away, and so I had to roll out of town for a while, and then I came back, and it's been a journey. Life is a journey, right? And he was actually one that Mike Todd Dobagee, who was actually one of the ones that really helped Express to Speak come to the Fort Peck Reservation, the Sioux Assiniboine Res. Empowering youth through creative expression is our mission. Right now, I've developed a literature review for the interventions that are taking place with Express to Speak, and our board president, Dr. Tim Conley, we're working on the methodology, and we're going to take Express to Speak into the community and test the efficacy, and see what transpires, so we can build. Express to Speak has been coupled with the way I grew up here in Missoula. I'm from the zoo where 3 rivers merge to one, west of the Pacific where the salmon start to run. Ravens snatch the crystal, creating stars and sun. Embrace the unknown, the great mystery web spun. We motivate from Glacier Lake to Beacon Hill, got more ambition and skills to do more than just pay the bills. So Express to Speak has been following me through my social work career. I had an undergraduate degree at the University of Montana and a master's degree at Walla Walla University. And at the same time, I say that degrees don't really mean shit, they're just hot. Especially when you pay your student loan payment every month. I work at Willard Alternative High School. I went to elementary school there, now it's a high school. I'm in my 2nd grade classroom. I'm the therapist for the CSCT program. I've been there 2 years, and I'm transitioning June 8th specifically into Express to Speak. So a poetry slam is usually a competition, and right now I had some youth go, well, why do you have to compete, and why is there a competition with poetry? And I'm like, yeah, you're right, and I've been wanting to change this up for years, so tonight, with your guys' blessing, you came to a poetry slam. Can we change up the format? Okay, all the poets wanted to change up. Miss Rain, you're in, you're on. We're going to change up the format, and I don't really know how the format is going to be changed, but we're going to definitely do the first round, and we're going to figure out how to go to the second round. You guys ready for some poetry? Okay. So just like Poetry Slam format, if there's a poet that moves you, if there's something they say and you want to express yourself emotionally back, please feel free to do so. Express to Speak is all about speaking and expressing and feeling your emotions. So we want you to come on this journey with us. A dear brother of mine, Shinnika Adams, and I started something called Fruits from the Poetry Tree right over here 6 or 7 years ago. And it was an open reading, and we had it, and we loved it. And what we're going to do is bring a little bit of that energy back. So without further ado, I want you to give it up for Barry Adams, who's going to give us our opening piece.
Hello, anybody out there? Yes. So I just got by to say hi. I am going to speak now, you see, in some kind of poetry, because a long time ago in my heart, I see the people of the heart, the people with the friendly eyes, the humanly interested people, the hip eyes. I come from the hip eye people. We've traveled across the world. We've seen lots of things. This year, even now, you see, I've seen many things. I've stood with Standing Rock, even though I was standing here in Missoula with them. I danced with Emma Goldman right in the streets here 100 years ago with Helen Gurley Flynn. But I was mainly kind of lost this year because I was burning with Bernie. And then I tried to climb the hill with Hillary. But in the end, I heard over the song from the great Tyrannosaurus ass, T-rump, 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 T-rump. And sure enough, they came. They came forth into the land, and they carried the bright candle of the freedom caucus, only it was more like caca. But anyway, in this dream, in Missoula, poetry stood right here for a while, you see. And poets came and laid the roots. And now here we are, again and again. And competitions never seemed to me to be the way to go. It seemed to me that what I know is that when it comes out of your heart, after all, think of this. Bob Dylan, Nobel Prize for Knock, Knock, Knock on Heaven's Door. And I was just down, hitchhiking on Highway 61. In my mind, I revisited just to see what it meant to me. And it meant that I came to Mizzou a long time ago to be here with you. And I still am. And now I would like to see in all of this hipstery of the humanly interested people with the friendly eyes and the people of the heart, we have a start. Here in this land, we can call out one more time. We can walk in the streets. We can rise up again. Thank God we are, you see. And thank the goddess that we understand. And thank the people who now have to live with all of this. To live with all of this. But it ain't so bad. You don't seem to me. Even though I don't feel all that free. I was in a federal prison a long time ago. And I was deep inside a cell, inside a cell, inside a cell. And it didn't go so well. And then they let me out into the yard, which they called this country. And I was like, wow, thank you. And now the guards are about to build a wall. I guess to keep me in or get us out. It's hard to tell. But I'd just like to give a shout out to the brothers and sisters in the struggle since time has began, for all the people of peace. And this year, there's going to be another gathering of those Hippi people of the rainbow in Oregon over the 4th of July. And that's where I really kind of get my yearly high, which I then try to sustain myself throughout the year. It's almost like having a peace march where you actually have 1,000 people show up, or 9,000 like when Bernie showed up, you see, and we were all there together and we all went, yeah, yeah, and then we all disappeared back wherever we came from. But I see some of you out here now, and I intend to hear your words coming out of your heart. And I tend to see with my eyes, hear with my ears, and if at all possible, I'm going to cheer and be glad that you're here. Thank you, poets. Thank you, poets.
Had your boy on the phone. He was listening to your piece. Shinnecock gives his love to everyone. Put your hands together for Radska. Next on deck is Jason. After that's Henry Kramer. So when the poet leaves, feel free to just come up to the stage. We'll be doing threes like that. I'll just be calling them out.
Well, I didn't know this wasn't a 3-minute slam, so my first poet is called Slam It. 3 minutes to bare my soul, slam the man, shout obscenities, decry the system, attack the corrosion dissolving the base of cultural humanity in neighborhoods, community, places that people seek unity. Seek out, speak out, need some rhyme, not enough time to name all the slime. Rap the rap against the state of corpulence, can't satiate the corporations, polluting, plundering, creating muck, run asunder. Streaming pollutants from chemical solvents, turning our water to toxic mix in taps in Flint and across the nation. Frying the brains of babies, mamas and daddies crying pain, mourning for what's been taken by terrorists in disguise, the system criminalized. Fracking fossilized rock, making the earth shake, babies erupt with birth defects. As we wipe our tears, they try to calm our fears while flames appear at the water tap. What the frack? And they enact laws that say we gotta stay out of their way or pay for the destruction of our river streams, dreams. Republicrats and Democrats in both chambers and all branches of government, hijacked by corporate hoods, bankrupting our future security, impose austerity on the masses, cutting funding for Meals on Wheels, but spending $3.3 million making deals at Mar-a-Lago. It's taken only 77 days for Republicans to destroy our humanity before trying to pretend bombing Syria ain't insanity. My F words are war, torture, obscene scenes of killing machine, genocide, racism, and misogyny. Misogynistic Republicans shout out about caring about my rights. A caucus of old white men want us to have freedom, except when it comes to our uterus. A president who ain't ashamed to debase women, grab their pussy, but only if it's really pretty. A Supreme Court judge set to go nuclear on women's reproductive rights. The system effing us, me, you, all of us, invading our private lives, selling our internet history to the highest bidder, call whistleblowers who expose their secret spies, my heroes in disguise. I detest their quest to disenfranchise us, to make us despise each other on the backs of immigrants, while so much needs fixing, roads, bridges, veterans in despair. Prepare to declare a state of emergency. Roar dissent, tip the scales to justice, stand with water protectors, Be the lyrics of a new song sent in the winds via prayer flags on wings of monarch butterflies and buzzing bees. Be the beat in the drum against war. Say no to hypocrisy forevermore.
Wow.
I don't know. Since this is more of a kind of a loose format, I'll see what I do. I'm thinking about this poem called, I'm calling it Wharf. I don't know. Wharf. Nothing happens. The violent shake anticipated by dormant bells that wag their tongues when threatened. A reminder of the origin of hollows, which ripple and flow across cobblestone streets designed by masons of deviant intent, who corner and alcove your civic pride and altruism. A well-placed street lamp illuminates a bakery, its pies of blackberry and raspberry entombed behind the glare of glass. And a flowered hand flips a brass latch and turns the sign closed on a shellac door. It's getting late. Darkness sets in solid as an inelastic candle wax. Alley cats jump gutters, cast elongated shadows, chasing phantoms and pheromones. An overcoat weighs heavy on your shoulders. Hands dig in and accost empty pockets of failed progress and miserable protest. Something is wrong. More than something is out of place. A mutiny of innocence has set you adrift. Common signs now proffer omens of no familiar therapy. The masons are engineering a sarcophagus for your dreams, which creep like invasive plants down the erosion-soaked edge of drowned piers. The night becomes water, a lake or a sea. Submerged, you converge in a cathedral filled with the naked torsos of mermen and mermaidens. Eyes thick as ink offer your last comfort and tidings. The stoic wake of welcome to Atlantis. The bells led you here and haul you off.
Henry Kramer. Excuse me. My apologies. I thought maybe you didn't hear me earlier. I didn't say your name. Excuse me. Give it up for Henry.
You can't write with a knife on the tree of life. We are nothing but leaves, and all leaves do is breathe. And the sea opens wide to seize the high and low tides in a dance. In, out, inhale, exhale in the pale moonlight. All that comes, goes, recedes to be breathed again. And with this baseline, all that seems mine was never more yours. All the blisters and sores, the admonishments, accomplishments, the peasant or the lord. We project a meaning onto the ever-reaching, ignoring the pouring rain that nourishes this life game for what it is, an accident magnificent in its deliverant proportions. For we rule the skies, the fishers and the seas, we as the unreaching, the body-bound, the unforgotten, the living. But there are those in and around our souls, a periphery of ancestral community breathing. A falling leaf travels through air. A dead leaf rests on the cold ground to give food for the roots, but no leaf vanishes. All that is and ever was is still here, digesting through the belly of the present moment that sees and feels. All eels travel back to exactly the same spot in the Atlantic, a little dot on any globe, to elope and mass mate before their children's returning to the rivers and shorelines they had spent their lives learning. And as we move about the world believing ourselves to be a part, we may gain a bit if we start to see that we are circumstance, a present dance in an ever-changing, constantly rearranging, ungoverned megatrance, enchanted by the notion of our own independence, living for ourselves and not our descendants, seeking some hubris or spiritual ascendance. As if to build some kingdoms out of clay, as if to find some needle in the hay, we build kingdoms out of clay, but we are waves, lost and sea-tossed in an endless reprise. Yet, when I open my eyes, I am doing much more than regaining sight. Perceiving, seeing, is not a passive sloping disconnection, but an act of conversation. To see is to call. To see and to hear and to feel is to call it all. All the past and potential futures, the manifest and unmanifested, into the now and into eternity. And believe me, this is it. But it's enough. The spark of ages lights itself on your candle, and when the wax burns, lights another. You can't write with a knife on the tree of life, but you shouldn't want to. We are nothing but leaves, and all leaves do is breathe. Thank you.
Great poems, great poems. Thank you. Palace, Gabrielle, and Jared Burkhart, the next three. Without further ado, please give it up for Palace.
I'm short. So, there's two ways to recite this poem. There's like the sterile way and how I recite it in the shower. We're friends, right? All right, so I might need to step back a little bit, but it's called Get Up and Go. I wrote it, and it kind of just came to me, which is unlike me, because it takes me a long time to write, but this just, woo, okay. Get up and go. Get up and go, honey. Make your move. Make your own money. Fuck what they say. Just keep keeping on, yeah. We no play today. We no play. Always I'll be in the mood to find the truth in mayhem, wrongfully accused. Where's the proof to save him? I see right through you. I feel your real intentions. Don't give me no clues. Give me the same protection. I am a soldier godly. Hold on tight. I'm holding on tight to my ways. Bayonet by my side. My eyes is all around me. Labored, hear our cries before you. Feel it surrounded, feel it surrounded, feel it surrounded, feel it surrounded. Get up and go. Get up and go. Honey, make your move. Make your own money. Fuck what they say. Just keep keeping on, yeah. We no play today. We no play always. Thank you.
I am loving the variety of voices here tonight. This is nice. I like it. Thanks for sharing your muses. This is a piece that came to me on the big island of Hawaii, where with every wave it crashes in and reminds you to be here now. One of my favorite books as well. So, we can only show you the beginning, not the path. You must find the how. Be here now. Be here now. Leave your thoughts at the playground. They will be safe and sound. Leave the confines of the park. Close your eyes, see into the dark. See through the clouds that shroud the mind with consciousness. Leave your ego to be true, consciousness. Be here now. Be here now. 'Cause it's a quest, a test, neither more nor less. 'Cause when you arrive, it means your death. So journey on, journey on. One thoughtless foot in front of the other, open to service to sisters and brothers, 'cause we are all this human family. I inspire you to inspire me. And together we branch this world tree to form a soothing canopy that shades the soul from blistering and all this whispering that will never be enough. Life will never be enough. Take these feelings by the throat, toss them to the gator's moat. Breathe across the bridge to meet infinite soul, time to greet. Be here now, be here now, be here now. Because we hold ourselves apart from the success that stirs our heart, resonantly blessed in part. But we wish to control the charts and the rhythm of our hearts. But the sailing is not to be controlled, because we are not the wind. We are not the wind. And any time you seize the boat with the illusioning of captaining, the ego wins. The ego grins, and the ego thins our sense of connectedness to the solar path. I challenge you to do the math. The counted ego comes in last. It always comes in last. So take this equation to the scholarly halls. Take this equation to the culture squalls. Take this equation to the shopping malls. There's plenty of numbers for us all. Balance draws from a well so deep. We slow the breath to fast asleep. Be here now.
Okay, so like I'm pretty fucking nervous. Got in a car crash like 3 weeks ago, and this one's called Car Crashy Poem. If anyone can think of a better title, tell me. The engine flips over, sunny side up. Sitting in the street, sitting in the seat, driving down the street, crunching the gas. Was I going too fast? Going 45. I thought I was pretty fly, because just yesterday I boasted my skill at driving, but now on the on the coast of road and dirt, just wish it hadn't snowed and insert rhyme here. Lungs push from my chest, graft versus host disease, dis-ease in my stomach on the coast of living and surviving, white as a ghost or the non-corporeal mist on the windshield, staring at the winter-stained field 'cause I'm spun yarn on this icy layered road, caked slush pushing my wheels, feeling Anne Pavlova more than me, point shoes on the gas pedal 'cause I would rather dance and die. Locked brakes trying to get through this, gliding into muted ice. The sun crashes over the mountainside, throwing its pastel orange shadow across the sky. Airbags jack in a box through the steering wheel's busted lip. Searing gunpowder ignition system kisses my arms. Smoke trickles out the rolled down windows and the cracked windshield. Crushed headlights stick like dog shit to the bottom of my feet. The sundered bumper falls to the ground like loose teeth. Thank you.
Give it up to those poets one more time, please. Coming to the stage, your next three poets are Gillian, Jay Dawson, and Brady. Please give it up.
Short microphone. Hello. So, I just wanted to say thank you for this slam. This is awesome. All the poets so far have been stellar. So, none of my poems have titles. I hope that's not a problem. Pointless gazes, gazing into the infinite. I think you might think it's just you, but I don't know, but I do know that there's a disconnect at the point where our gazes meet. I hope you understand I have a hard time letting it be easy. With a history of leaning on limits, strip them away and I am naked, stumbling like a newborn child in the desert. I am pulled by the sun, but suddenly there are many suns, and they scorch sensitive skin from all directions. They see a small child, and they are all on an ego trip. I am on an ego trip when I remember it. Silly judgments throwing up walls with a flick of slender fingers, trapped in an aquarium of my own making, drowning because I cannot see the oxygen, waves crashing over my head, pulling my feet into the riptide, swallowing sea salt, lungs tearing themselves apart, no breathing. Relax, relax, she said, relax. Words bubble up spaces in my toes. The waves are forgotten. Look, I'm breathing oxygen again. There is a world beyond those walls. The walls disappear. Fearing my own ego is feeding the wrong wolf, and he howls every time I see him. But I would rather connect in our gaze than listen to the wounds of past memories. I will take on the suns and the brightest one, to be a child at the point where our gazes find the one in the infinite. Thank you.
Sometimes I think I'm not short, but I'm short. All right, this poem's called Lullaby. Shedding clothes like coats, I stand, bare skin to air, but inside, I'm already down another universe than reality. It's almost as if time slows and I see my bare bones next to yours. And I can't help but see the beauty in the way my skin hangs like silk from these collarbones. I feel your hands mold me into you, making me yours, and something inside me flees, scared of the woman who let a devil's spawn live inside of her temple, tantalized by a love as toxic as methamphetamines. Your lips press down my spine like butterflies, as if the kindness could wash away the history carried by these weary vertebrae. I succumb to the inevitability to be used and filled again. How do I explain it's not you that's tainted love, curdled it in me without even a little bittersweet? So I sit here petrified, as these ribs I lace shut like corset strings begin to be torn off before my healing and bleeding stop. I didn't even know until now the pain I felt went beyond working it out to a hell that danced dangerously close to the shackles called love that leave you battered and blue. I run away to Neverland whenever skin crashes on bones, tasting your soul on my tongue. I read you with my mouth, refusing to hear the words of my own. I stopped long ago, believed someone when they told me porcelain dolls don't speak. And I'm not sure how to decode its whispers in my heart, its song singing me a lullaby. I'm afraid if I dive into this tangled chaos, it will drag you into the silence. I'm afraid I'll never come up again if I look into this mirror. But there I looked, At my skin reflected, too taut and smooth for the cobwebs that wreck my insides. I watched these bones I could never call my own cave into yours. Could you be the one to sing me my own lullaby? That lullaby, you can hear it, right? With your head nestled between my breasts, I bring you home. Can you teach me the song if I let you stay more than tonight's moon and tomorrow's sun? I've been looking for the answers in the stars, but I can't get past their beauty. Is that what I am to you? Is this skin blinding, burning paper thin so that girl curled inside will never grow out of this shadow and blossom into her own? I can't blame her. She's watched my soul explode 1,000,000 times over, scattering stardust into my limbs. As hard as I try to hold this wall up, every night there comes a time when I collapse into you, letting you hold this scaffolding under yours. Maybe it's just I can't decide if I'm worth you or more. Thank you.
This is new shit. Anybody that's ever seen me dance knows that I'm just a white guy. But this poem isn't about my sweet dance moves. This poem is about Peggy. You see, my family is full of a lot of Mormons. And Mormons, their vocabulary centers around a term called genealogy. That means what you come from, where you come from, your family. And on one side of my family, my genealogy goes back to before Jesus was in short pants, way back to Greek merchants who sided with Roman shipmakers, who went to Slavic tradesmen, who went to where am I at? Swedish knights, who went to the Normans, who went to the English, who everybody mixed in with all the ethnicities of Europe, all the way from Turkish Christians to Spanish Muslims to a Roman emperor. A Roman emperor in my family. Sure, it was the Christian era, but it's still a Roman emperor in my family. And everybody convalesced together in Europe, and then the family got on a boat around the turn of the century, came to Europe, and fulfilled the American dream where we are today. But then there's Peggy on the other side of my family. Peggy is not her real name. Her real name is Mabel. But Mabel is not her real name either. See, Peggy was born in 1910, and when she was 8 years old, a group of white people came to her reservation in Oklahoma and told her that we can give you a better family. They told her parents that we can give her a better family if you just send her with us. And then they sent her to Great Falls, Montana, to the Ursuline boarding school, where recent court documents have proven that the Ursuline boarding school was a breeding ground for pedophiles and child molesters, and they just cycled them all around all the Catholic schools and boarding schools. But Peggy persevered through that. Peggy graduated. Peggy went to college. She was one of the first people in her family to go to college, and she got a college degree, and then she married a nice Mormon boy who beat the shit out of her for being a savage. Because you kill the savage, you save the child. That's the motto of the boarding school. And she lived that for her entire life up until her wife-beating husband died. And then she spent the last 30 years of her life as a Mormon family siring football teams worth of children who also sired their own sports teams themselves, coming up to about 30 grandchildren who would spend every Saturday and Sunday at Peggy's house going through newspapers, looking for names, looking for cities, looking for something that she found familiar from places that we never even learned of. I was the last of those grandchildren, and I spent the last 30 years of her life in her living room looking through newspapers, highlighting names. She was a hoarder. There were piles of shit everywhere. I went through everything she went through, and I couldn't find anything. At one point in her life, she was the oldest person alive. She was about 104, something like that. She spent her entire life trying to find out who she was, but she couldn't, because everything got taken away from her. When she got taken from her family, they didn't tell her what her name was. They didn't tell her who her parents were. They didn't tell her anything. And all the records in Oklahoma were burned. They killed the savage. And it's so important in a Mormon household to know where you come from, where you are. She spent her entire life up until she died. I don't even think she knew her name. She didn't know who she was. So who am I? Anybody who's seen me dance just knows I'm a white guy. Thank you.
Give it up for those last three poets again. So we're still trying to figure out the format here because we kicked out the poetry slam. There's no judges here tonight. We're doing a reading, but we still have another round. So all the poets that have actually gone up, I'm going to put a piece of paper out at the end of that table, the second table over there, because is there room on the other side of that table? Second table. Right there, yeah, pointing right there on the, yeah. So there's room on the other side of that table. I'm gonna put one of these pieces of paper. If you want to read again, please put your name on that, huh? Is it raining? Huh? She's here. No, I'm just trying to, I appreciate you guys looking out for this sister. You're like, Dad, did he forget her? Did he not have her on the list? No, we've got more poets. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to actually do this because this is new to me. Anyways, quick little announcement. Once again, this is a fundraiser, awareness raiser, more or less an awareness raiser for Express to Speak. Express to Speak is a program that has been working since 2010. There's another program that came out of that called Vision and Voice, and I've been working in the detention center with men from 18 to 25 to dig into their own shadow work. Anyways, coming up next here, put your hands together for Kyle, Delirious Lyricist, and Mars. Kyle's also a colleague that works at Willard Alternative High School. Give it up for Willard once again here.
Mic up. There it is. Mic up, like an ice cream cone, like that. Okay. My name's Kyle. I'm a school teacher, and you know what pisses me off worse than standardized testing, Common Core, bullshit with other teachers? Fucking Pledge of Allegiance. Fuck that shit. It's nationalistic, it's outdated, it reminds me of Nazi Germany. So I wrote a new pledge. This is the Pledge 2017. And just like the regular pledge, it's still shitty, but it's better if we all do it together. So it's audience participation. You ready for that? Yeah. Okay. I was gonna have it up on a thing, but we'll just have to repeat it after me, all right? And like the Pledge of Allegiance too, with the pledge, of course, you put your hand over your heart, which is like the most bullshit part of it. But with this, you can put your hand anywhere, all right? So I'm gonna put my cell phone on my ear and my hand on my nuts. All right? You guys ready to call back? All right. I pledge defeated. Tracked and tagged. By the United States of America. And to murders redundant. Afghanistan. News stations. Corporate fraud. Tinder vegetables. With synergy and hookers for the rich.
Hello there. My name's Mars. Mzilla on my SoundCloud. I wrote this one because I've noticed a pattern where I'm from, and also there may be a little bit subliminal and straightforward stuff, but I don't know. It's what I came up with. Okay. We all been awfully melancholy. I can see preeminent, obvious evidence of people's gloomy mood and ignorance. Intimate arrogance from personal experience. A menace, no dentist. In fact, he's my apprentice. I digress, but inspect the world affected nonetheless. Stress effect infects mental perception, no exception. Undetected infection is possible. Optical illusion eludes positive views from view. News crews are as rude as they should be. The need for peace bleeds, but incinerated in the blistering heat of tyranny. In the midst of shitty streams of wasted dreams, it seems I see the light. I got my own type of vibe. I don't care if they dislike mine. My state of mind's insatiable. I can relate to the unrelatable. Inedible rhymes fed filled with lead left many dead, full of dread, regret bled from the temple. Simple example, notice if you wrote this, unless you've read and tried writing notes, you won't know or understand the man behind the mask. So for now, all y'all witness is a blank canvas. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. Okay. Thank you all for coming out. First of all, I'm more of a rapper, so I like to have the mic in my hand. Okay, I go by Delirious Lyricist. It means a lot to me, as well as every other artist here, to see the community supporting us. So thank you guys, like really. Yeah. Okay, without further ado, this piece is called Earbuds. I'm getting older, and life isn't as easy as it once was. But at least I could escape the world through my earbuds, cause music won't ever judge me, cause here simplicity is all that keeps me happy. But what's complex in me is watching my reflection sing. It's like I'm the pitcher, but I'm also up to swing. I can paint you a picture of a human being with no colors and it's still a living thing. With the rights to breathe and be with whomever they want to see and to live free. Cause if you can only be you in privacy, then you're living in an alternate reality. So I challenge thee to be as weird as you can be while respecting other people's cultures and dignities. If you do this with the right mentality, then possibly we can make the world a little less challenging. Now logic can take you from A to B, but imagination can take you everywhere you see. These are my favorite words from Albert Einstein. Taught me how to draw outside of the outline from time to time with my rhyme. Now my mind might not be divine, but with this little light of mine, I'ma let it shine. With this little light of mine, I'ma let it shine. So bright that it's like the mic is just an amplifier from my might. Now my fire's so fly that it's like I'm burning kites in a night sky like the 4th of July. Just for a moment, can you open your eyes? Realize that all the lies in your life's just disguised. This is something that Bill Nye couldn't describe, cause it's something that you find inside. Usually guarded by your pride, which if left unchecked can leave you blind. But with this little light of mine, I'ma let it shine. See, now I can talk guap like Fetty Wap at a monocle shop. Still yet I'm coming with those logical thoughts, jumping over all the obstacle plots. The prize is what my optical sought, and that was a change of life with the music I rock. Now it's hitting the spot. All I ever wanted was to live with hip-hop, so this ain't no pit stop. I'm headed to the tip top. I don't care if a raindrop lands in your drop top. I'll stay the same and I won't ever drop off. I see the door of opportunity and I won't knock off. I'll break in and knock your socks off, for I am not a knockoff. Thank you all.
I used to go to the resource room when I was a kid because I couldn't read very well because I was dyslexic. And one year I wrote Poetry Slam and I wrote Poetry Slam. Put an R in there. And then everybody on the street, they're like, bro, you spelled Poetry Slam wrong. I said, no, I didn't. You caught it. Good for you. You caught it. Just trying to test you. I was like, give it up for the poets. So your next three poets are Austin Graff, Jack Michaels, and Miss Rain. Give it up for the poets here. One more time, give it up for the poets here.
All right, so yeah, this is probably the most important thing that I have to say today. It's for somebody in here, you know who you are. This piece is called Building Blocks. Makeup can be defined as the composition or constitution of something. DNA defines our genetic makeup, guardrails along the sidelines of metaphorical highways, train tracks that guide the things we will say or think, the very building blocks of our beings. God's Lego bricks, interlocking to create who we will be. Now, if you ask me, that's beauty. So pardon me if I misinterpret what you mean when you tell me your makeup is what makes you beautiful. Because you're right. Not at all how you think you are. You tell me that you need more makeup because in your eyes, but only in your eyes, the makeup which God made you with is not fit to be the face of what society has deemed beautiful. You see, as kids, we were told to never judge a book by its cover, but the jury has already spoken as to these cover girls, that these are the blank pages from which we all need to read. I'll tell you, Victoria's Secret is that there is no story after her table of contents, only a long line of runway models who shadow society's insecurities in a layer of Photoshop, makeup, and lingerie. So I am going to call you out when I see you coming up with another reason not to love yourself. I am going to call you out when I see you plastering on another layer of plastic so that you can become someone else. I am begging you, don't lay that layer of foundation as though the structure of your skin in itself isn't gorgeous, as though those dimples aren't strong enough to support the beauty of which you consist. I understand that we live in a time where people would rather observe what you are than who you are. An era of being so overly self-aware that we would rather be our own reflection so that we're no longer responsible for what the mirror would show us. We edit images of ourselves so that we can imagine up another us. We'd rather be another version of us that we would rather see, so let me shake things up. When you ask me what you ought to do with your makeup, my best advice is that the two of you should break up. Don't let that bad boyfriend take up any more of your space. Of course, I only want to see your face, love. That stuff is no less of an escape from yourself than to take drugs. Don't forget, it's God's building blocks that you are made from. I'm tired of seeing so many people applying so much mascara. I feel as though we are living in the mask era, that we're so scared to let our freak flag fly, afraid to share a story that's our own, scared to wear a face that don't require time in the mirror, that stuff that obstructs my view of your features. Just clear it. Let's clean the slate and get back to the basics of Lego bricks and building blocks and take a drive down the interstate to a state of mind that rewinds us back to a makeup of God's design. It reminds us, yeah, we're already beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't he so pretty? So last night when I was looking at what to do for today, I realized I only had 3 good pieces, so I wrote this at like 2 in the morning. You ever wonder, and I don't mean about stuff like what is love or what it means to be a good person. I mean like, on a scale of 1 to purple, what color would you be if you were a snail? The more I think about it, I think I might be a 7. You see, I don't worry about whether or not there's a heaven, because if there is, that's cool. But if there's not, well, that's cool too. But what I know exists is me and you. And from my point of view, that's what I should focus on. Because you see, you and me have everything we need to make something real. I just don't feel like passing up on that opportunity. So talk to me. Tell me about the last time you cried, or how old you were when your goldfish died. Or, I don't know, the last time you had a fungal infection. While gross, at least it's a genuine human connection. I don't care what you say, just the deal is it has to be real. That way I can get a feel for who you are, and in the end, that's not too far from making a friend, and I think we'll both be better off for it. Now, this isn't to say that I don't think we should ask the big questions. We just can't let ourselves get wrapped up in not knowing the answer. Because think about it. If no battle plan ever survived contact with the enemy, and time keeps marching on, then wouldn't it stand to reason that every day meets us with an army of minutes and moments demanding that we make decisions about what to do next? We can't spend too much time thinking about an afterlife, because before we know it, we'll have robbed ourselves of the opportunity to enjoy the one that we're living. And yes, those questions are out there, but no answer was ever found by people sitting around thinking, isn't life mysterious? If you want to do something, then don't take yourself too serious. Free yourself from the burden of thinking you have to know everything. Being a good person doesn't require much thought. It won't take long to figure out what you should do and what you should not. And if you wait around too long thinking about it, you'll just let yourself rot. So the way that I see it, the real danger in life is just letting it pass you by. So talk to a stranger, go for a run at sunset. Who knows, maybe the answer to all of your woes is simply having some fun. So I guess this is the only advice that I can really give. Instead of thinking about life, go out and live.
I started this one when I heard about this slam. I'm so grateful for Taj and Express to Speak. I just finished it a couple hours ago. You got something to say, squirrel? Don't hide it in your cheek. Express yourself. Plant those seeds. Use your word, gesture, and deed. Share that perspective. Paint images for others to perceive. Open self to the world. Come on, speak. It's long past time to retrieve our cultures from monopolies. Come back to community. Family, help me to believe we really can nurture seeds to fruit what we really need. Healing takes creativity if we're gonna sprout it spontaneously. So if you like to please join me 3 times with your own breath. Inhale deep. Exhale and inhale for Om. Om. As syllables slip from these lips that have kissed lovers to orgasmic bliss and screamed like a banshee spirits, spit sickness out from inner grips and sung tears sprung across space-time transits. I hold myself true to the all-powerful word. Word meaning here an emotional frequency intentionally given to be heard. Heard meaning here a responsibility to acknowledge all relationships surrounding me. Seeking to hear the ever-widening vision circles we share. Is that ringing clear like medicine gong waves washing over your particles? Or gunked as canals beneath your skin working hard to pass over processed petroleum through your ventricles? The word is transformative. To be heard is sacred. Self and other changed within the water. To a master's certificate, it may seem too elementary, but it's elemental and deserves the value of first priority, water and the cycle. Flying frozen, the precipitation flowing through so many possibilities, eventually evaporating, finds its way through air, soil, even stone, tongue, skin, even bone. At least 70% of my body, at least 70% of the world, macro and micro reflections, bearing cosmic ships over tidal currents continuous. However you choose to deny it, you cannot escape this. Water pollution is body pollution. Pervert its flow with shallow greed, and we pervert the depth we know we can achieve. So don't be afraid, express yourself, stand tall. Peace.
Give it up for Ty.
Thanks, guys. I was just thinking, how cool is it how full this place is? I usually play at the Tuesday night bluegrass jam, but this is poetry. So to the guy who was in the federal prison, this one's dedicated to you. I discharged a 3-year drug sentence in Montana State Prison. This song, or this poem is called My Bloody Palm Saturday, and it's about playing the metal toilet in a prison cell 24 hours a day to keep my sanity. I don't have a violin, I only have a metal drum. I don't have any gloves, I only have my hands on tin. I play my metal fucking toilet until my hands break and bleed. I scream into a fucking outlet until my neighbors cannot sleep. I don't care, I'll fucking bleed, I'll break my motherfucking hands. I'll play this fucking tin can with all of my fucking speed. My hands won't stop twitching. I'm worried I've fucked the nerves. I'm sweating and I'm bleeding. And my fans want me to surge. All the other inmates in all their cold-ass cells, I'll play my fucking hands and break down motherfucking hell. I'm not alive unless I'm hurting. I'm not hurting when I'm in pain. I'm not happy unless I'm screaming. I'm a prisoner, punk rock, paraplegic, Cobain. I'm a turtle with a bad attitude. I'm a rabbit locked in a cage. I'm against the baboonic fucking pigs that are outside my metal fucking cage. I'm a revolutionary, here it's true. I played 7 songs, and each one of them ends with the word fuck you. Everyone is dedicated to the prisoners here. I'm not playing for the guards, but I'm playing for the others here. I'll play this metal fucking toilet until my hands are red, and then I'll go to prison medical, and then I'll do it all again inside my head.
Give it up for all the poets in the first round. We've got one more round for you. We're just gonna take a moment and try to figure out how we're gonna do this. So feel free to just take a little moment, get another drink, move your legs, and we'll be right back at you in about 5.5 minutes. I think I just did some weird thing with my iTunes and just deleted everything on my iTunes. I don't know, it's kind of cool though. It's like you can just do things that you don't mean to do in a quick moment, but not really. 3 years ago, Express to Speak was written up in the Independent. The work that I've been doing, or the program has been doing at Willard Alternative High School. And then there's been a write-up in the Missoulian. And I was just talking to our accountant, Megan Adams. Give it up for Megan Adams. And we were just talking some business, and it was kind of cool to talk about business in the Top Hat, because when I was a kid, I used to bring wood down with my dad, and my dad actually used the table saw downstairs. It's kind of interesting. And then I had this dream one time that a vortex opened up here on the dance floor, and it was green, and it was just coming up, and I was like, man. And then I had another dream about the Top Hat, about the Prohibition, and they used to drive cars down these ramps. It was bizarre. Anyways, give it up for the Top Hat for allowing us to be here. So usually we do 4 rounds, and now we're just gonna do 2 rounds, because basically we had a lot of the poets sign back up for the second round. So once again, in the name of kind of pulling competition out of poetry and allowing the heart. Give it up for Barry Adams, who opened up the Poetry Slam. We got some family in the house, some old school Missoula roots, which is nice to have. Give me 1 second. That song was actually off my second album, Sweatshop Sneakers. And I got another album out too called Soul Drain. and another album out called Paradigm Shift, and they're over here for sale right now. And you can purchase those. So I'm gonna open up. I was gonna do a tune for y'all, but I messed up my iTunes, and I don't know what happened. And it just like keeps making me go online. And it says, please buy stuff, please buy stuff, please buy stuff, please buy stuff. Don't have any money? Use your credit card. Use your credit card. Use your credit card. Don't have any credit cards? Fill out this application. Fill out this application. Sometimes I giggle just a little bit. The oxytocin, mix it with the dopamine, and then I get a hit. We on that cloud nine, feeling like we got mine, even though it's cloudy, straight up glimmers of the sunshine. So where my people at? So where my people at? I got the feeling that something beautiful up in the air, we build on that. Collectively, reciprocity, energetically, we build upon this happiness philosophy. And if you want to vamp our energies, we got the garlic and the water, transform with the alchemy. Give it up for Brady. Followed by Henry. Followed by Delirious Lyricist. Followed by Palace.
So one of the first poetry slams I ever attended was here in Missoula, and it was hosted by Taj. So give it up for Taj. Give it up for the Top Hat for having everybody here tonight. Give it up for all the poets, please. Give it up for yourself. You're all a beautiful crowd. So this is the first poem that I did after returning back to Montana after traveling all around the United States. This poem is called How to Kill a City Mouse in Conrad, Montana. You start your day with a breakfast of fried eggs and juicy gossip. Always listen for the neighbors because it's a good day when the welfare check arrives, and know that the pharmacies and the liquor stores have their calendars marked so. Science is only subjective when the entire world stalls waiting for the only stoplight in town. And I can disrupt the space-time continuum by ignoring the 13 flashes of the red-palmed warning. And try winning a pissing contest when the size of your dick is measured by selfie-driven Facebook likes. There is no anonymity in a place like this. Every ugly face in the crowd belongs to individuals who challenge the notion that evolution produces a generation more beautiful than the last. The only solace comes after 9 p.m. when all the house lights dissolve into darkened living rooms of a Norman Rockwell ghost town, making it impossible for a night owl to find a suitable meal to quell its hunger pains. You know, late one night, just to see what might happen, I crank the gear shift into reverse and drive around backwards, craning my sight out the rear window pane. My titillation turned to sadness as hours passed, with nary an amphetamine-driven trucker noticing the odd combination of white inside red as I lap continuously around Main Street. At daybreak, I can drive for less than 10 minutes in any direction and find myself suffocated by the sky amidst an endless toilet paper smear of grain. There is a point where you get far enough out where you can drag your finger across the horizon and follow the uninterrupted curvature of the earth. While hundreds of miles in the other direction, the mountains stab the sky like a tweaker's broken bottom teeth on rotting green gums of unforested pine. I try to draw in a breath, but the air has no flavor. It's clean and it's good for you, and I'm having trouble finding a breath that I can use to scream.
So this one is brand new. And yeah, no one has heard it before, so I don't know. I might not have it totally memorized, so I might have to look at my phone at some point, but hopefully not. If I were to say my age, I would say that I am 24, but I am also 17. I am 6, 8, and 10. 13, I am in the woods. 15, I am sitting at my computer, wasting time, worrying that my life will slip out from beneath me by procrastinating living. 16, I am in love, idealistic, and just beginning to become confused. Every part of life is the intersection of questions. Does growing change us? Does changing grow us? Or is it just the slow, tragic, inevitable loss of something deep, something we knew when we were born, but that we lose and lose until we lose it all? Growing is falling backwards, away from a voice that calls from the receding dark that it knows what you are. The Ouroboros is a symbol of a snake eating its own tail. It's found all over the world, from Central America to medieval Europe to imperial China. The Ouroboros doesn't grow or change. It only spins. Or maybe it's growing and changing so seamlessly and cyclically that it's impossible to tell the difference. The snake can't speak. Its mouth is full with its own tail. But I once read a theory that the Ouroboros is what we yearn for in some deepest parts of ourselves, a union with eternity, with what we knew when we were born, which could be nothing other than the nothingness before us, ahead of us, within us, and between us. But I don't yearn for nothing. I yearn for everything, for every shining scale on the Ouroboros' long body, all of it together. I yearn to be 6, to be 8, to be 10, to be who I am meant to be and all I could ever be, to be allowed and alive and endowed with life, to be every note of every song that speaks to me, to know every meaning and every history, to be enveloped in a mystery so grand that my awe is the only emotion that can overcome the becoming all. Pretty far. Huh. Oh, yeah, right. And the strongest and saddest thing about this yearning is that I believe it can be done. When I am 6, I am only just beginning to believe that I am me. Before then, I am the snake. I used to interrupt conversations because I didn't know who I was, and so I didn't know who was already speaking. All right, you know, I'm just gonna hold it out. It's fine. It's fine. I was not constrained to my name or my form or my size. I was alive in the living of being alive. I was consuming and creating, a spinning circle of becoming. I think of it like a knot, what happens to us when we grow older, grow smaller. I think of it like a knot in the body of the Ouroboros. It's not that we can change eternity in our smallness. It's just that eternity looks more complicated, more confusing, so that we don't know what road to take, despite some basic knowing that all roads we take end the same. When I am 24, I wish that I am 6, and in wishing as if it isn't, I am forgetting the shape of the snake. I am forgetting that I am born every morning in spring, and I am needlessly nodding something incalculable and immense, and I sense this is the horrible changing of growing we fear so deeply and maybe don't need to. Maybe we can wake up one morning as all of ourselves, or playfully as some of ourselves, or some of something else. The eternity of living spinning like a swing. Or something we could carry, like a ring, still, silent, and vitally alive. Thanks.
Hello once again. Okay, I'm glad to be up here a second time. This new piece is probably one of my best pieces. Yes, new shit. This is definite new shit. No one's heard this yet. By the way, Taj, if you need to fill up your iTunes, I just released my album March 25th. Yeah. Straight Outta Options is the name of the album, by the way. Yeah, Delirious Lyricist is my name. I know it's a tongue twister, but Patch Flowers is my real name. I know that sounds ridiculous, but without further ado, okay. I can give up right now and never try to be famous, but if I did, then I would be an ignoramus. I'm sorry, it's hard not to be heinous when the sky's where your aim is. Cause only if I have a shot is it impossible for me to miss. But at least I can touch it with my fingertips. And I get a glimpse of bliss as every word slips through my lips. I would be the first to admit that all I ever wanted was to be famous. But that's so that I can make a movement and watch as the world changes and rearranges. I know you having fun running around with your clique with the blunt lip, but what you believe in is magic. And all that hocus pocus bogus will just make you lose your focus. So grab hold of what hope is and take notice that this flow is enough to move a lotus. I remixing thought with showbiz, redefining what woke is. But I didn't become a prince from a toad's kiss, so I decide where my road splits. But I can't get by on just roach clips. So this is me, DL, coming with those cold spits. Just in case if you were wondering who was the culprit that grabbed the mic and choked it. I eat beats faster than cups of artichoke dip when I'm blessed by bong rips that take me higher than rocket ships when I'm rocking it from talk to tick. See, everything you've heard, I'm the opposite. I'm absurd and I'm lost to shit. On this planet we damage and all we do to fix it is use a bandage. It's outlandish and my soul is famished. I know you know the anguish. If you don't, just sit down your phone and speak a language and watch as the world changes and rearranges away from the thought that a rapist can feel shameless cause he blames it on the way that girls dress is what compels him as he engages. It's outrageous that we face this. I mean, good gracious, I'm just trying to make this world full of problems a little more spacious. I'm afraid that space is the only places the human race lives after we're done draining our planet of all its resources. You can't distort this. I am the delirious lyricist. Thank you all.
All right. And I spit it with a little bit of Midwest in it mix with that shit and the cigarillo for real though, pop in here. I hear them, don't get it twisted. I fear nothing, fifth in one hand, blunt in the other, motherfucker. So, what you guys don't know about me is I have a background in performance poetry. I was mentored by the infamous Cheryl Lamb, who started the Chicago Young Authors Collaborative. And then I started rapping, and, kind of recently I picked up the guitar. So anyway, this piece I wrote for my baby nephew. I've been drinking, so I might cry, actually. And then I just, can I sing? Is that okay? I turned it into a song because that seemed to be the right way to go with it. It sounds better as a song than a poem. Baby, look at them my eyes. Show me them teeth, yeah. 'Cause I love your smile. There's no need for you to ever cry. So let's nestle up and we'll share our thoughts. I forever promise that I'll do everything I can to make sure you understand that the world's been singing the blues, just waiting for someone like you. Baby, why don't you sing my song? Come on with me, yeah, 'cause I'm right where you belong. I got some weed nestle up and we'll share our thoughts. I forever promise that I'll do everything I can to make sure you understand that the world's been singing the blues, just waiting for someone like you, like you.
Give it up for all the poets. We're in our second round. Give it up for the next four poets: Jay Dawson, Gabriel, Austin, and Jack.
Yeah.
This is called The Wanderers. I like it better over here. I'm drowning in seas of dead people. Every place I turn, smiling plastic faces, and the closest scrutiny simply melting off. The smell of burning plastic ranking, dripping away to show the skeleton underneath. The eyes never change, no matter the millions of pasted smiles over the pain. They're empty, cold, and hopeless. It's been raining pretty hard of late, like God's crying for his lost children, dead before they could reach heaven. We chase dreams of peace, love, and happiness while kids die in the streets. What are we doing? Tell me this. Everywhere I turn, bodies filled with ghosts. Why do you think all the kids play with death like it's a video game? Because you can't kill someone who's already dead. And I've been thinking, dead inside is far worse than outside. There ain't enough morticians to instill ambition in our dormant souls, so the living dead keep walking around looking fly, drinking enough to silence the crying, smoking so much they can no longer see through the haze, tripping on LSD so the world can seem whatever they want it to be. TV fucks everyone's brains worse than Mary Jane. There's a whole generation of the Walking Dead, escapees in the brain trying to worm out of their bodily prisons, like cocoons that hardened in ignorance. Now the wings just rot, turning to gray, because this world is too vile to stomach all alone, so we hopelessly let go, blundering drunkenly through, trying to heave up this evil poison that penetrates every moment of our lives. We grasp after the dreams of Martin Luther King, trying to fly together under one love. And every once in a while, we taste what we're missing, but we're always too delusional to remember how we got there, too drunk most nights to ruminate on life, too high in the sky to actually reach for the moon. We live in a world that's impossible to take without something to kill the pain. For some, it's running, for others, cocaine. You imprison us, hold us in your arms with the promise of love, then twist us into gnarled souls floating on our dreams' coals, grasping for futures to pull us through this rabbit hole, turning back in the past for innocence we lost. Can you not see the cracks in our souls, buried deep down below, fiery young souls who ended up doing what we were told, even though it makes living impossible? Slinking into our prison factories, letting them send us through the machine, spitting out squares, all the beauty snipped off, left in a pile of scraps labeled vagabonds. Not sick enough for this society. Left to wander over seas and deserts, never finding a home, searching for a shred of wisdom, knowing something greater does exist beyond these blind walls, that square cannot be the only shape, war not the only solution, hate not the only emotion, that something called enlightenment does exist. Left to wander with no home, a different type of refugee that listened to the Fugees and other revolutionaries, never content with just all right, staying up way too late every night, fighting the machine. The white knights of humanity call them the last hope this world has, the last chance before darkness descends. Everyone turning into straight arrows, shooting directly to nowhere. But these vagrants haven't even been fletched. Too many beautiful knots marring them, content with only changing sunrises, perpetually questing for the greater knowledge, the ones you find dancing when no one's looking, singing in the darkest hours, laughing in the face of calamity, because to them life is already a tragedy. They're searching for the alchemist who can turn sadness to ecstasy, never done with their quest, forever riding the turns of the world, running from the cages of society, living the purest form of existence, weaving in and out of the wild, spinning into them every strange night, every new skyline, beautiful tapestries, these nomads, these lost souls, the brightest of our kind. Thank you.
Dishing out the beats to complete ecstatic bliss state, light as if a dream from a scene filled with heavyweights, tree within a ring of a king, trapped in checkmate, no more playing nice, throwing dice in a dead game. Travel in the pools, fish in schools, and the money make, caught without a box, skipping rocks across a glass lake, knocking out the wind of the sin and the guilt face, telling me to cower, never glower at the head of state. Flipping through the news, filled with blues in the cityscape, color from the clouds, all the crowds and the blank face, suffering from buzz up above, no more saving grace, waking up the sleep that gets deep when the truth is late. I got a second-hand clock from a shop full of made-up dates. It keeps me on the bubble, seeing double from a hesitate. Moving through the masses, all the classes that the martyrs take, mental-minded bullets, they did pull it to install the state. All your fellow fields now, get ready for the Watergate. All your fellow fields now, get ready for the Watergate. Opening the portal of a third eye, moving, meditate. Inspire now yourself, no more shell, time to clean the slate. Pulling back the curtain where the greater mind weaves at fate. It's not too late to pull some strings. Put your heart in everything. Put your heart in everything. 'Cause I'm feeling that I wish you know how I try to relate. Serving up the heated beats, stack 'em on the dub plate. First you put the record down, then you start to rotate. All my tools are sharper now, scratches on a clean slate, on a clean slate, on a clean slate. And I shot these thoughts across dark galaxies at the speed of lightheadedness. Like flashlight beams waving across the starry skies. I'm trading alibis with storytellers, once upon a second guesser. I caught the mind up in the trap, the gap that sleeps, the heart attacked. I'm through with these fences of feeling. I'm through with the floor and the ceiling. I saw the heart upon the wheel. I tore apart the same old seal. But the more I find, the more I know I will never be the same. Through the window, in the door, the score is settling for more. But the more I understand the meaning, I will never be the same. Are you listening? Are you listening to me? Listening to you? Yes. Are you listening? Because I'm through with these fences of feeling. I'm through with the floor and the ceiling. I saw my heart upon the wheel. I tore apart the same old seal. The more I find, the more I know. I will never be the same. I will never. Thank you. And thank you, Todd.
All right, while we're on the topic of album promotions, my band just dropped their second album, We're Pale People. We got an album release show this Friday, 7:30 p.m. at Free Cycles. It's free entry, 18 and up. Be there. We'd love to see you. And this next piece is called Lover's Music. There's something magical about fleeting moments, which is why I love the beauty of music. Pure ecstasy for a few seconds and then nothing more than a warm memory, longing for more, the crashing of harmonies, the roaring rumble of an audience, longing for more. I will beg her for more. I want her to be the kind of woman who knows how to play my vocal cords. The draw of her breath like the draw of a bow on a viola, a few fingertips against my cheek, playing the right melody in the key that unlocks my heart and unravels my soul. Pulling it apart like a ball of yarn, extended into a string that she'll pluck so softly that my entire body booms, the vibration of a bass so deep that it fills the room, rich, warm, the kind of song a soul is supposed to sing. And I will play her skin like a piano. The way my fingertips interact with her hips would dazzle Bach and Beethoven into another sweet melody, another etude of adoration with the power to turn a silver moon gold. Our music will play like wildflowers. Yellow petals that start small but bloom to change the faces of countrysides. The elegance that reminds us that it takes more than one note to make a performance, more than one petal to alter a meadow, but it only takes one kiss to fall in love. Her pulse will be my bass drum. An elegant beating which brings the reasons to be alive, and I will thrive off of her rhythm. The heart has complex functions, but the pounding is simple. The residual beat that grounds my feet, completing my emotions, the same way that the beach borders the ocean, the same way steam powers a locomotive, the same way my lips put words into motion, the same way her words will help my heart open, the same way I believe when her melody reaches me, it will heal all of the parts of me that are still broken. You see, love is more than just a complicated series of romantics. It's more like understanding the motion of emotion. It's not romance. It's just a dance that takes two people to master. So when I talk about love, it's not that I'm into romantics, it's just that I don't want anybody besides her as my dancing partner. And we will dance to lovers' music. And we will sing in the key of passion, pushed by the influence of a smooth melody, doing the things lovers do from day's dawn to moon's rise. I will love her music with a love that will make the moon shine as bright as light of day, and let the moon's light cause the night to fade away. Like I love her, I will love her music. Thanks.
So before I begin, can we just give it up for Taj real quick? Because I legitimately do not think there'd be a poetry like scene in Missoula if it wasn't for the work that he does. Like someone else here, my first poetry slam was here, hosted by Taj about 2 years ago. Nice. So I wrote this piece after that, actually, because I realized I didn't have any pieces that rhymed. So here's one that rhymes. Earlier today, my biggest problem was if I had something important to say. I never worried about making it rhyme because no matter how much time I take, my mind can never seem to find the flow to help both the stanza and the story grow. And God knows that my tongue is knock-kneed and bow-toed, so maybe I just need to go at a pace so fast that I fall on my face, because maybe the ground's my favorite place. Because maybe then there's nothing to do but grow, nowhere to go but up, because God knows that what I have in there gets stuck here because I'm full of a lot of fear. Fear that I won't be able to say what I mean in my own way, because long ago some Joe Schmo poetic decided that words should rhyme. And I feel like I own enough to try, but really it feels like I'm packaging myself, changing my thoughts so that I can fit up on a shelf, because it feels like my emotions are going to be bought and sold until I get old, and my passions grow cold, and what I have to say gets lost in the way that I stamp, seal, and compromise my ideals. So I won't. I won't leave my thoughts reeling, because lately I've been dealing with the concept of expectation. Expectation can be a wonderful thing. It can bring out the best in some, but for the rest of us, it's a source of stress. Suddenly we have to watch the way we dress, the words we speak, and what we think. Suddenly we begin being judged by the appearance of our skin. We are judged by the body we were born in. Men are expected to be strong as steel. We don't get to feel anything because emotions are too rare a commodity to deal in. So we build a moat around ourselves, but our fears and our sorrows float. So we build a castle around our hearts because we can't put up with the hassle of having people know that we feel things in a society that doesn't let us speak of them. Women are expected to be seen and not heard, to not say a word, because their appearance is valued more than their thoughts. And strict adherence to this view is the only way to avoid being thought of as a shrew. But both are expected to be an individual while having to keep vigil to everything that is designed to bring people back in line with normality. Because for many, it is the finality of a mentality that justifies every one of their shortcomings. I found that expectations don't bring people up, but rather pull them down. And if you wallow in the expectations of others for too long, you'll drown. First in their expectations, but before you can shout, you'll begin drowning in your own self-doubt. So when you are in so deep that you can't seem to think and you feel like you're about to sink, take a breath. and realize that in that moment, you get one lung full of courage and another full of tenacity. So in that moment, you have the ultimate capacity for greatness. And if you just keep breathing, you can accomplish amazing things on a daily basis.
Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Your next four poets are Radska, Kyle, Rain, and Jared. Give it up.
So which mic? Is this one a good one? Okay. So tonight you're going to learn why my poet name is Radska. This poem is called I Am a Solidarity Movement. I awoke a pole, tall, skinny, a gangly girl, built like my father. No waist, wide shoulders, flat-chested, chiseled cheekbones worn smooth before time. I speak with my hands. People give me space when I talk. My three-syllable surname, Jankowska. Unpronounceable. Spell it, they say. I hear every Polish joke. I wonder who this body holds, what this body holds. I seek my prehistory, want to know the mystery of my history, my pre-story, to learn the Polski language of my people. I taste my mother's, Martha's, galumpki and pierogi as they waft through our farmhouse kitchen. My senses seek discovery. My body aches for fullness. I begin a journey in search of my ancestral DNA. I wander through the flat edges of the landscape. I taste the bitter fruit of oppression. I feel my roots in a people beaten down, down, down. Poles aim for politeness. So armies gather to orchestrate our defeat, yet we arise from the ashes to escape partition. The voice of resistance begins to spark through veins. From Warsaw to Poznan and Gdansk, workers unfurl their banners of freedom to stop extinction of a nation state. Souls pulsate the voice of solidarity to send shivers down my spine. I rise from the fields. I awake, a tall, gangly woman with stark cheeks, fire in my soul. I carry the genetic code of Poland in my veins. I flow with resist. My fists rise in unison with workers. I raise banners of peace woven in blood. My voice percusses the drums of freedom with my lyrics. My spoken words gather the masses. I speak with outstretched arms. I am Polska. I feel the ache of history in my bones.
Holy shit, Radska. A few years ago, I had writer's block. It was drugs. I was on drugs. So I did the most cliche thing possible a writer can do to get themselves started again. I started a series of love poems. This is love poem number 2. I want to squeeze you.
like a fresh bottle of honey. Or home plate in the 9th inning, a suicide squeeze. Not that eye popping out last of ketchup cram into skinny jeans kind of squeeze, but firm, you see? Like my hands on a well-made tool. 2 hands in the same glove, or the last camping trip before summer ends.
Thank you, Kyle. This poem I always like to share in the spring, and it's always dedicated to a most amazing spirit that helped me write it as he was flying away from his body. Ultimately, universal. Ultimately, I know that whatever happens to my body, my spirit is free and whole. Golden energy, electric, sun, cosmic egg, yolk spilling free to the flow, to remember, rejoin, reknow the frequency. All conscious life is tuned to be like all time before, surrendering. Back to back, I trust in. The more we practice profound acceptance, the more we have for self and others respecting. Surrendering, trusting, acceptance, respecting, and then all of a suddenly you, star child, bursting with the glow of your inner wild. Inspiration, creativity, inspiring, titillation, instigation, involving intuition. Intuition is the investment in the development of our mind's meditativeness, for it is the tool divining context for our beautiful heart's wisdom. However simple, may it reflect I in you. You are a dream. So, reconfigure your wings. Hollow bones of man's society became fertile tubes for rooting all the healing possibilities, the necessity of love refuting the tyrant deceit. And our phoenix feathers fill in as we grow out from this drought of doubt, learning how to know a point is not what this is about. Our story is never ending. Here written, actions writing in the insects, the toads, the shrimp, plankton, algae, and mold, whales, condors, cougars, and wolves, every microscopic to macrocosmic perspective to behold. Literally seething through our cellular walls, divining us upward from these falls. Through our practice of being imperfect, we discovered the perfect journey. Pathways laid, opportunity, tangents to tickle out these sensational waves, uplifting our newly refeathered wings, bound for breaking the strings, the marionettes. Bound for breaking the marionette strings, burning the beams that made the ideal structure of civility. We learned the proper rhythm, and our beating broke the bridges we didn't need. These access points they claimed for efficiency began the desertification of the wild waters we need. To write our heart to the sea, we share this need. We care for the dignity of all life, a universe of love created and mankind has subjugated. But I am more than man, for I see my reflection being part of sun, earth, moon, sky, and sea. Like the leopard leaping, finally answering the ringing of hunger's call. Like that goat suddenly springing to that spot of green, spring awakening, part and part of no separate thing. For one, we all sing this harmony, universal. Peace.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's the poetry going tonight? Everyone having fun? Everyone liking those poems? Got enough poetry in Missoula for you tonight? We're getting you with a little surprise attack. Taj, bring him out. You got the honors.
Let's turn it up in the mains.
Yeah.
But it's that five-finger funk that goes thump in your trunk. Deeper than those down in the cave that crave to spelunk. The adventure of a lifetime as we climb. Blinded by darkness, the sun lit the sign in my mind. The way the raven's wings grip the air flight transposed. I suppose this light flowing from my soul as the moon grabs the hold, the gravitational pull sends my state of consciousness bliss begging for more. The metamorphosis I'm enclosed up in the cocoon. The time is yes destined, the time is coming soon. The time is coming soon, it's best to check the Hopi prophecy. 11th hour, 11th day, can't you feel me? Now's the time to speak of your mind. Get that shit off your chest, life's a test, burn the flares for the quest. Yo, Glacier Lake Kid, Pacifica Northwest, and either you got heart or your chest got your heart compressed.
You got your chest or you got your heart on top. And get that stuff locked, cause it's going off the top. And when I'm spitting it and getting it so illegitimate, cause you be repping it. Repping Missoula, Montana from the Northwest. You be blessed every time you roll by. Looking like this, fly like a bird in the sky, cause yes, we know why. What we do when I sleep, cause every time that I be spitting on the beat, I be rocking it on top of it. You going down, and every time that I spit this verb, it goes down like downtown, downway. Every day you go to the avenue, and every day, cause you got to spit like this and get it right back. Sing it up and then get that track. Every time that I get it, every time that I go it, every time that I spit it, I get so illegitimate, cause I be going down like that. Spitting poetry from the mind, yeah, I didn't write that. But now you know that the stereo turn up loud when you hear the words go. Poetry in me, so I'm obviously into the poetry. So can't you see that when I be spitting, it's coming from the mind? When I be spitting, it's coming from the unconscious tied with the three dimensions, the fourth, and then you get through it, and then you can understand what you be doing with your own body in your own self, cause you can be doing anything that you want, and well, so Taj, hit it, get it, get it, get it.
Give it up for my son Diego Solon right here.
Give it up for Taj, running the poetry in Missoula.
Y'all ready for some more poetry? Coming to the stage, Jared, Jason, and Mars. Put your hands together for these three poets. Actually, it's going to be Jared, Jason, Mars, and Ty. Give it up for the poets.
Okay, so I finished this. That sounds weird. That one. Any better? Yeah. All right, cool. Wait. There we go. There we go. Finished this like an hour before this reading started. And I'm going to talk about it for 5-10 seconds. So I'm not straight. My parents don't like that. Here's a poem about it. Your drunk tongue is an e-brake lever that pulls swollen breaths out of your water spout mouth, and homophobia drips out of. I slip on the floor where it's spilt out like the broken ice machine on the cold summer floor. Your mouth is brake fluid burning a hole through my shoe, scalding red hands under the kitchen sink. I'm sinking with the flakes of skin that clog the drain. A rain stick shoulder, the beads in my fingertips roll when I stretch the sky into my palms, chipping calluses, and my legs are a monsoon of music. I've never felt so alive, striving to hear something more than the beat in the stethoscope, because your heart is a muscle the size of your fist, so you can hold someone in the soup bowl shape of your hands. And I know that I just have to dance and dance and dance, even if I have a skinned knee, my fingertips feverish shaking with the vibrato of my voice box, a pugilist or something like that. I wish I knew how to set down the gloves, but now I'm just fight and flight slightly better than I was, as when I split my veins with a disassembled razor, pacing my rhythm of my heart with the crackling, knocked over power lines of my words. I can't shock you with anything I say anymore, so back-to-back psychotic episodes on ABC. I write this as my Monroe doctrine. I don't know why you can't accept I'm not your son. I'm just your child.
Jason, throw. Oh.
Sweet, I was just gonna say that. But I was, that kind of feels like if I was a baseball star and, yeah, I think you gotta pick your songs, up to bat next, Derek Jeter, like, boom, boom, maybe that works, I don't know. Maybe that should be my new ringtone. God, all right, let's see if I got this one in my head. This is salting a beard. I prefer to use potato chips and peanut shells. Enjoying a cold beer, relaxing with friends, while my favorite team wins the championship game. Then there's the honest labor of landscaping in 90-degree July, digging boulders, tearing out stumps, as every pore in your body drenches you with sweat and your nostrils fill with the smell of earth. For the more adventurous, one can work on a catcher or tender boat, rocked by swells as waves of seawater crash the deck and you rig the line, trying to stay upright in neoprene boots. Maybe you're on vacation, sitting on the beach, lips caressing the rim of a margarita, followed by tequila's trifecta of lick, shoot, suck, smiling in the sour grin of pleasure. There are many methods, but my least favorite, and one I do not recommend, is meeting a beautiful woman, opening your heart, falling in love, only to have her leave you for a man named Noah. It's not easy being a mammal. To hell with Noah. Go Red Sox.
Sodded. 4 MCs today. I didn't expect that. Make it 5. Anyway, so bit of backstory. I wrote this when Hastings died. Closed. I don't remember. I think it's called Economics. I don't remember what the title is, but here it goes. Economic decline, catastrophic landmine, failing catatonic design, the mind resigns, euthanized property, put to death properly, false superiority royally destroyed, shove the unemployed, annoyed by the above noise, avoid the poison accident. Death from the president has spent the breath on the apparent evidence. Resident trust spit the dust, no gust can rinse the rust, you can't trust the fuss, the lust, or the rough, gruff, tough guy. It's all a lie, truth is falsified, appalled by the vocal locals. It's all very loco, solo cocaine runs, roll the guns the most. Post-apocalyptic, cryptic rhymes are almost present. At the moment, profit at its slowest system, broken smoking barrel, ratchet ass apparel. Feral minds can't recognize nice or the word kind. Not the first blind though, we should know, because that's just us.
Hello again. I'm glad she's here. Yay. All right. Thanks, Taj. Everybody. Let me do this a second round. This title of this poem is called Dinosaur Goes to Prison. How do you plead, Mr. Dinosaur? I said, how do you plead, Stegosaur? You're charged with 8 million counts of distribution. 100 billion counts of marijuana possession. How do you plead, Mr. Dinosaur? I plead Genesis 1, verse 29. I plead the blood, that's all I plead. I'm not taking a plea deal for your anti-pot insanity. No, sir, I plead the First Amendment for my weed. Oh, and yes, sir, I'm no danger to this society. How do you plead, Mrs. Triceratops? I said, how do you plead there, ma'am? You're charged with growing hydroponic pot, overturning pavement into gardens on abandoned land. So how do you plead, Mrs. Reptilian? I said, how do you plead, Mr. Jesus Christ? I said, how do you plead, Son of Man? You're charged with creating 1 trillion green plants, one of which is Mary Jane the Cannabis Jive. How do you plead, Mr. Son of Man? How do you plead, Mr. Deinonychus? I said, how do you plead, Mr. Gangster Lizard? You're charged with making 100 zillion drugs that take away the plane of other dinosaurs and other gangster thugs. So how do you plead, Mr. Smooth Riding Wizard? Find me guilty, put me away. I'll smoke pot in the prison all night and all day. And when I get out, I'll buy a green brick with the money that you give me at the gate. I'll buy now, isn't that some shit? And I'll roll a big fat blunt and I'll smoke it right there on the way out with my friends. Well, they all had spoke and the gavel had struck. Each dinosaur was given some hard-ass luck. Not a one could afford a real great attorney, so these lizards, they were made of scales, not money. It's a long way from paradise when a dinosaur is put in chains. No more oceans to swim in for Ichthyosaurus. No more lands to wander, Mr. Plesiosaurus. Welcome to prison, now go sit in a cage. Plesiosaurus met Ichthyosaurus in the yard one week. Old Plesio had stashed in the prison 100 pot seeds. He asked Icky to watch his back to post jigs by tower number 3 as old Plesiosaurus parted the garden by the thistlethorn tree. Well, in 4 weeks there sprouted some green shoots, all blended in with the thistlethorn tree roots. Both Plesio and Icky smiled, showing their teeth. Oh yes, they said, we're going to be rich in here indeed. Oh yes, we're going to be rich indeed. These little puppies will grow at least to be 6 feet. Well, in 3 more months, it started to blow snow. It was harvest time for those incarcerated dinos. When a snow flurry hit, they chopped out the plants down, put all 100 puppies in their state-issued gowns. No one Pat searched the 2, and they went back to their cells. They pulled out their scissors and prepared all their buds. In under an hour, they had a pile of buds so fucking swell. They hid them in their mattress and pillows in their cells. The next day was Christmas, and the whole prison went green. Moral of the story, you can't take away marijuana from a thunder lizard drug king or his queen.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out. So, since we're doing this in different fashion, keep staying up here, stay up here. All the poets that are still here, this is the finale. Come up here, please. I know some poets have left. And this is where we challenge the poets. Are you guys ready for something? Give it up for the slam that we had. We put in something a little bit different tonight. It was between a reading and a slam. And we had Barry Adams open it up, who was on the hilltop when the mountain came and he saw the first rainbow gathering, I think in like something 70-something or something like that. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Let me just consult with the poets to make sure that we're all in. So we're going to weave something here. Every poet's going to put a little piece into this collective piece that we're going to do here. You guys down with that? Hold on, there was like, yeah, okay. Are we down with that? Are we down with that? One more time.
We slam that poetry downtown and all around town, slamming situations and relegating the masses to mixed media. Mix your media with ochre passions of colorful verse, drunk on prose and lyrical red. As we toast the night of fine verse, aged to perfection. But don't forget the war reflection.
Staring in the river, looking at my reflection that splits this town into smiles and frowns, so many more smiles, and I'm happy I'm here. My dog lies on his side and runs in his sleep on the hardwood floors. Scratching sounds like sidewalk chalk written in the dark, dark, dark.
And I'm just sitting chilling in the little living world we're living in, spitting flows off the dome, off top, rocking the mic. I don't care. I'm just bored.
The moon is not only the moon, it is everything upon which moonlight falls. The moon is not dead. It is alive in every plant it nourishes, in every animal that sees by its light, and every poet or songwriter who calls to it. The moon is not woman or women. It is a projection. It is a space for projection in moments of awakeness or perception, where it illuminates a part of ourselves like the tracks of an animal in our woods at night. People say, do not mistake the moon with the finger pointing at the moon. I say the moon is not the moon.
Like it's not the glint on my dog's eye or his nose if his eyes are closed, dreaming of times when the war will end and we can all befriend each other and throw those balls to catch and reconnect, because all I know is when we share our nourishment, we're blessed.
I don't memorize my poems, so this is, I guess, where I start to freestyle. And I just want to thank you all for being who you are tonight and singing and saying your words and giving me a space to reconsider my career options from that college degree that I think I should be getting back to rapping a little bit more. But that's just me.
Nervosity sinks as it swims. It feels like gin. I don't know where I'm going with this. But God, I'm so drunk on being up here tonight. And thank you all.
Direct quote from my daughter. Good night, best friend Moon!
Woo! Some of us are bored, and some of us are thinking, and some of us are terrified. And I spy eyes out in the crowd that see me, but do you really see me? Because I don't really see you. And then I close my eyes and I listen. This is a great crew. Thank you.
Don't ask me my name before I'm drinking coffee because I'm doing my own time and you look like a cop to me. I don't really hate you, but I'm not really social because I don't know what follows what is your name. Most many times it ends up in a prison cell and that's a bad game. So when I wake up homeless in a cardboard box and I can open my door, well, I have a good thought. At least I'm free and I can do whatever I want, and I don't know any more of your ill society.
The wickedest feeling is killing innocence, and you a sickening thrill for the victim, like splitting skin with a pencil. But people plotting against you, mixed with some shit so addictive they claim it's saying it's sinful. They don't know what you've been through. Yeah.
Wow, I watch a lot of bad cable and basic.
Thank you for coming down. Thank you for supporting Express to Speak. If you feel like you want to throw a quarter, a nickel, or $1, or write a $10,000 check to Express to Speak, feel free to give it to the door up there. Once again, thank you all for coming out. Blessings all. Once again, give it up for yourselves for coming out here and supporting the local scene, supporting poetry, supporting live music. Thanks to the Top Hat. Thanks to MCAT. Thanks to Hookshi Tukapo.